I want to talk to you about the tragedy, the horrible tragedy of Menachem Stark. But before I do that, I just want to mention that I'm so thrilled that the bias unit of the New York City Police Department made an arrest with regard to the knockout attacks that have happened here in New York and in particular in Brooklyn. And I'm just thrilled that many of the people who were victims of these attacks and the fear that it caused in the community, people being afraid to walk the streets, I was first informed by the victims that they had been brought into a lineup to identify the individual who, by the way, was arrested for something else. And because of the great job of the New York City Police Department, his picture was passed around, and many of the victims had a chance to actually pick him out of a lineup and then appear in front of a grand jury. So we've taken someone, the New York City Police Department, the bias unit, they've taken someone off the streets responsible for the attack on a number of people in Brooklyn, and people can sleep better at night, which is wonderful. But people should still keep their eyes open and be careful, but they should not be afraid. Most important, I want to talk about the tragedy of Menachem Stark. It's just unbelievable what has happened. Here is a man, a citizen of the city of New York, who was murdered. He was executed. What happened to him, the cruelty involved in his murder, is unbelievable. This is a man who leaves behind a family, a 1-year-old boy. His oldest is a daughter of 16 years old. He leaves behind a mother, a father, a wife. Can you imagine a mother and father having to watch this horrible, horrible tragedy that unfolded in New York? And the media is busy with the speculation with regard to what kind of person he was, as if that is relevant with regard to the murder of a New Yorker, the brutal murder of a New Yorker. It's sort of become a competition between our two tabloids, the News and the Post. I mean, what the New York Post did is beyond cruelty. It is beyond cruelty to do what they did. You know, many people wanted him dead. I mean, the pain that they caused, you know, the murder, and then the New York Post comes along to take a knife and turn it and twist it, not into Stark. Stark was not alive anymore, but to take the knife and twist it and turn it in terms of the mother, the father, the wife, and the entire family and the entire community. Whatever the facts are with Stark, right now that's not relevant. A person who has never been accused of a crime was murdered cruelly. That's the issue, nothing else. And it is just a tragedy that to sell newspapers, and that's really what it is all about. It's amazing how I've become a fan of the New York Times. I have not purchased the New York Times in 7 years because of their position on Israel. Not once, not one single time in 7 years. But I have a tremendous respect for them, because they would never do what these tabloids are doing. You know, who can sell more newspapers? It doesn't matter who you hurt. It doesn't matter the kind of pain you cause. All someone has to do is say something about Menachem Stark. That's all they have to do. It doesn't have to be verified. It doesn't have to be the truth. As long as someone says something, you can print it and you can sell newspapers. And on top of this, we even have people in our own community. People who, you know, they look religious. They put things on blogs. They even own blogs, who behave in a way that is no different from the New York Post. Absolutely not different. Everyone is outraged at the New York Post. We should be outraged at all kinds of lashon hara, all kinds of evil that goes on to undermine people, to be cruel, whether it's for this reason or that reason or the other reason. It's not just about the New York Post, even though their behavior is disgusting, despicable, beyond, it's immoral what they've done. You know, they try to justify, they try to give excuses. But we're not stupid. New Yorkers are not stupid. We understand what it's all about. It's about selling newspapers. It's not about the truth. It's not about verifying the truth. That's irrelevant. Don't confuse me with the facts, with reality. It's not important. It's just about selling newspapers. And it's just very, very sad, whether it's the Post, whether it's the news, or whether it is a blog in the Jewish community that is evil, that spreads the most vile kind of Lashon Hara because of a personal agenda. It's not different. It's the same thing. And we should all condemn all of it. Because who's going to be the next target? Who's going to be the next victim? So, this has been a tough week for the Jewish community. It's been a very difficult week for the Jewish community. And we should all, when things happen, when bad things happen, we Jews try to understand why. Why is it happening? It's not just something that is in a vacuum and it's just happening. Life is, things happen. No, we Jews, Hashem is sending a message. And we have to try to figure out and understand what that is. And standing up and doing the right thing should always be the most important thing. Not anything else. What is right and what is wrong. And we should stand and do the right thing regardless of anything. And what was done to Menachem Stark, what was done to his mother and father, to his wife and his children, is something that is so horrible. It's beyond any words that I can use, the behavior of these tabloids. There are no principles. There's no truth. It's all sheker. That's what it's all about, unfortunately. But we have to deal with it. We have to learn a lesson. Otherwise, it's all a waste.